Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video on the Steph Trades YouTube channel. My name is Tells, and it is a pleasure to be featured on this video. And yeah, we're on our way to the gym right now. Then we're about to hit up Texas Roadhouse and do the 100 roll challenge. Potatoes, mac and cheese, steak. All right, bro, damn.
Yo, what is up, guys? Happy Sunday. Clock right now, my Packers play in an hour, man. I am so scared. But boys, we had such a good start to the year. This was the first full week of 2025, and we are up $16,000 in 4 days. I have been trading out of my mind. December was so rough for me. I told everybody, just wait, man. Wait for December to end. Let me get back into January, start this new year with a clean slate, and I was going to take advantage of this. And I think I've taken only 2 losses this year so far. This is one of the better trades I have taken in my entire life, just looking back on a pure kind of outlook and execution trade. I wanted to really pinpoint this one and just really make a video about this single trade because this is such an important thing to be able to do. Read your supply and demand zones, be able to adapt and quickly make smaller zones that you could potentially see in a potential trade off of. And also, when trend is extremely bearish, taking a play on longs is very risky, like I did. So being able to have confidence taking a trade like this and actually catch the bottom of the entire day. You guys can see this is low we made. I ended up drawing this zone, and you guys see we came down here at once, bought up off it, came here again, bought up off it, and you guys can see it never got lower than this low. We actually predicted low of day, caught it, and actually got 55 points, but I could have taken a lot more, it looks like. But please, if you are considering trying to get better at trading futures, I think I am the best person in this space for you. I'm super genuine. I always try to teach people as on the same level as them, never try to, confuse you and make you think that I'm smarter than you, even though I am. I would love to have you in the mentorship. Please check out the bio. There's even a free section too if you want. There's no reason not to. But looking at this trade, you have to watch my input on this. This is so key. I like to do right before market opens up every single day. I start on the 4 and 1 hour and mark out zones and try to set up kind of a range for myself every single day. And you guys can see we marked out our current low because market was right around here when market opened up. So we found our low, our nearest low on the 4 hour, and our nearest high on the 4 hour as well. Marked out those 2 areas and kind of predicted some chop in between, especially with how big of a range this is. Almost 300 points. Expecting to see kind of chop in between and just looking for trades in between these. But understand this, usually when we get underneath one of these areas, I either look for a sweep of the low or a continuation down. So again, this would have been, market was here at this time. I would have expected to see buys in this area. If we got underneath, it could have been a potential for shorts. If we got above this, it could be a potential for longs off of this in the future. You guys can see on the 4 hour, we actually did end up sweeping this low back up. Didn't get very far, but at that point, we didn't know anything. All we did was marked out this zone and this zone. And then at that point, we go in the 1 hour and we look for kind of a refining chance for our entries. You guys can see on this 1 hour candle, there is no opportunity to make this zone any smaller or more precise because it is just a nice 1 hour wick. Go ahead and leave that one there. The reason why I really do like to have this area marked out is because obviously that is an extremely bearish, significant top wick, as well as price tried to buy back into it right after it. And then look what happened right after that. Boom, ginormous sell off, almost 300 points. Same thing with this 4 hour low, not really anywhere to revise this. And again, same exact thing. We had a really nice trend coming down into it, finally made a bottom. Bought up off of it, tried to get underneath it, and then buyers continue to push this up, and you guys can see the pivot we had off of this area. Again, I love to look for these pivot points, think about them as kind of like V-shapes almost. We have this initial trend down, this pivot area right here, we can circle that, and then a continuation even higher. And this is a pure example of being able to look at the bigger picture and actually have to analyze intraday what I am looking for. We're not always going to have perfect days and predictions of what our analysis could be. Again, I thought that we were going to chop in between these areas, and you guys can see we kind of did, but currently when I trade from 9:30 to 10:30, we got underneath this low pretty quickly, and I thought shorts. And the thing that I kind of like to do, and I've always tried to do this is a really bad analogy, because I know I don't want to relate gambling to trading, because it's not. But when you are gambling, you're sports betting, you always want to look for value at a current time. The current time you're looking at, you always want to look for value. Again, if there's a team that has been losing a lot when they usually don't, and a team that's been winning a lot when they usually don't, you want to take the chance at the underdog. That is why betting in sports is always sharp to play the underdog. The public loves to play the favorites all the time. They love to bet on the Bills. They love to bet on the Chiefs. But, being an actual professional sports bettor all the time, there's very rare chances when you are betting on the actual favorite to win the game. And currently that is what it's kind of looking at for me. When you see a trend this bearish going into a move, you don't want to take shorts, okay? This is not a clean downtrend. It is until we got underneath this area. What you want to see on a clean trend, drops, pullbacks. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. But then you can see right as we break underneath this zone, it is just straight selling. And this is what I like to call curling. I don't know if that's the exact terminology, and I don't know if that's scientifically correct. But you guys can see a clear indication of once we got underneath this area, very strong, very bearish. And then you can see as we get underneath it, yes, this candle is pretty bearish. But right here, right as we started to kind of just slow down and kind of curl like this, make a little bit of a little swoosh, I love to look for buying opportunities in this scenario, buying, or just the opposite price movement direction when I see this kind of curling. It just kind of shows me that price is looking weaker and weaker and weaker, and your sellers are getting exhausted, because look, this was almost 25 minutes of just straight selling, no buying at all. And sellers are obviously getting exhausted as we made this low. So I was just watching the price on the 1 minute like I always do. When we get underneath these areas, we're out of my initial zones and there's no hourly close coming anytime soon or 4-hour close coming anytime soon, because you guys know the 4-hour closes at 10 o'clock every morning for me. I like to look at entries right around there. I like to trade from 10 to 10:30. That's usually my window. I like to start at 9:30, start streaming in the Discord. 9:30 to 10, we're just kind of analyzing what's going on. 10 to 10:30, wait for the news to come out, and we usually strike around 10:30. Exactly what happened here. This was at 10:10. All we were doing now is I understood that yes, the trend is very bearish. That's why I had a very small TP compared to the move that actually happened and played out, because we like to be realistic. I understood that price was extremely bearish, but we have not had a pullback recently. You guys can see usually big drop, pullback, big drop, pullback, big drop, no pullback yet, okay? And I was looking for a pullback to this area for potential shorts, and I just noticed that we made a low. This was low of day right here. We ended up making a low of day right here. Had not marked it out just yet. We just waited for an actual rejection off this low, and that's exactly what happened. So look what happens here. We make a low of day. We don't mark it out just yet because there's no proof of buyers coming in, but you guys can see buys coming off of it. That's good. First step to seeing an actual low being made, a legit low to mark out, is seeing a reaction off of it, then an actual retest of the zone and seeing the reaction off of it. And that's exactly what happened here. This is a perfect textbook retracement for a bigger move up. So we have this initial low being made finally after a very bearish downtrend. Price buys up, doesn't have a lot of strength to keep going up. Price falls automatically right back down, and look what happens. Buyers pick it right back up, push it right back up to the previous entry, and we jump in at this candle close. TP or SL was at the bottom of this low right here, so it was about 30 points for me, and TP was right here at the top of this previous wick, which was 55 points for me basically. And from that point, price just I was not in drawdown for a single second of this trade. Literally, I was never down. There was no point in the trade where my P&O was red, which is great sometimes, but it was a little scary. This candle kind of freaked me out. You see we're a tick off up here, and price actually came all the way back down. But I like the setup. We were up a lot. I had my stop loss at break even. See that next candle just came up, took it right back, and price just shot up continuously. There's something I want to really talk about with this trade specifically, because it is so against the grain. It is very unlikely for me to take trades like this when I do normally like to play with the trend. I tell people a lot that you want to play with the trend. It is always going to shift your win rate a little bit to the benefit if you always play with the trend, because it's likely that it's going to continue rather than reverse. In this case, I was just looking for a retracement. Again, I was still bearish on the day, but I saw an entry for longs, and that's what happens when you play off supply and demand. You really have to trust your levels, and if they don't play out, they don't play out. But if you always get an opportunity for an entry, especially in between your window, you always just want to go for the trade. And as long as you're being realistic and you're having realistic targets and realistic stop losses, you always want to take the trade. And we had a really good RR here, 1.8. 55 points. I usually really only like to target 50 on the day, so putting me at 55 was already such an amazing end of the week. You just always want to believe in what you're going to do, and you have to trust your zones. Whenever you see an entry like this and a setup like this, it's always in your best interest to go for it and take the trade. And also, don't let anybody influence what you want to do, man. There was some people that were looking at shorts, and people were looking at shorts all day. I was the first person to probably make money on longs in the entire world until this moment. As long as you have a realistic approach and it matches what you look for on a trade, do not feel afraid to ever take a good trade. I love you boys so much. Thank you so much for watching. This video is such a good kind of just refresh on what you should be looking for. We're going to do even better next week. I'm so excited for you. Hopefully you can subscribe and we can watch more of these videos. I love you.